Jared Shafran sitting down with Harrison Watt for FerrisStateBulldogs.com, getting ready to preview this weekend series between the Ferris State Bulldogs and the Alabama Huntsville Chargers here at Ava Glaben Arena in Big Rapids. See behind us, morning skate going on here on Thursday. Practice for the Ferris State Bulldogs. Alabama Huntsville is here already. They'll skate later today, and it's going to be a big series here this weekend. Ferris State looking to make up some ground in the standings. Harrison dropped a couple points just because they were idle over the last couple weeks, and obviously the Bulldogs in 5th place right now at the cusp of home ice here of the WCHA playoffs, but some big games coming up.
Absolutely, and you get the 10th place team in the conference coming in, so they're points that you really have to get. You can't really excuse giving up points to the 10th place team. That being said, this is a team that took North Dakota very deep into some close games just a week ago.
What we've been watching for is the goaltending for Ferris State. We've seen Charles Williams, we've seen Darren Smith. We've seen both of them have some good games. Both of them have some regrettable games. And its last couple weeks has been split between those two. And it'll be interesting to see who starts at the outset tomorrow night, because Bob Daniels hasn't really given any indication of who's ahead in that battle. Darren Smith got the win against UConn 2 weeks ago. Charles Williams allowed 7 goals to Harvard, but the coaching staff said they liked the way that Williams competed and they thought he did some good things in that game. So I think that's going to be a major storyline coming into the weekend.
Well, Charles did make some big saves in that Harvard game. I think there's no doubt about it. He didn't play all that poorly. It's just the number looks a little lopsided when you look at the defensive lapses that happened in that game. And obviously Darren Smith comes out the next day and gets a win as a freshman at Mariucci Ice Arena. It's going to look a lot better. But I think the coach should still see this as a neck-and-neck battle as you go into the second half of the season. I think it will continue that way as we open the second half.
Finally, Harrison, something we've talked about a ton lately has been the play of the young line, Trevor Rechtenwald, Jake Hetz, and Andrew Mayer. Those three have made quite the trio as they've really scored up some big goals against Northern Michigan before the break in the Mariucci Classic. Weren't fazed by the big stage. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of those guys, and they've kind of set the tone for a resurgent Ferris State team here coming into the second half.
Well, especially you look, the leadership on that line is going to be Drew Mayer, because Drew Mayer is the oldest one of the bunch. He's a sophomore, but he brings a good physical edge, brings a lot of leadership as well. And Trevor Rechtenwald, I think, has become the glue on that line a little bit. Jake Hetz scored a really nice goal in the Mariucci Classic. In fact, scored a couple of them. One of his goals, the goal against UConn. It was a really nice shot. Goaltender didn't even flinch, came in so quick. Very impressive to see from the young freshman.
Well, it will be a big series this weekend between Ferris State and Alabama Huntsville. These two teams haven't met in almost a year. Bulldogs were down in Alabama and swept the Chargers last February. We got a chance to catch up with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Bob Daniels, to preview this weekend's matchup.
The University of Minnesota tournament was an excellent experience for our guys. We really, really enjoyed that tournament. We've been there a number of times. University of Minnesota does an outstanding job with that tournament, and we're fortunate. I think we're going to be back again in a few years, and we really look forward to that. Now, in regards to what we did, boy, we were able to identify a few issues that weekend. Now, the first game, we didn't play well to start the game against Harvard. We played much better as the weekend went on. I thought our last 5 periods of hockey were pretty good periods, and but we certainly, for whatever reason, we didn't play well in the first period of the first game, and we were able to identify some issues with our defensive zone coverage that during the off week we really tried to sink our teeth into. The other area of concern is both power play, penalty kill. That remains to be an area that we feel we can get better. We should be better at. So, we straighten out some of our issues in our defensive zone. Number one, it's going to allow us to be in the offensive zone a heck of a lot more than we are, and we straighten out our special teams. And I think hopefully we did that over this last 2 weeks, and now we'll be primed and ready to make a move here in the second half. There is a sense of urgency. There's a lot to be decided. You can move a tremendous amount up or down the standings in any given weekend because of the number of teams that are hovering around 500, with us hovering right at 500. Now we still have a chance to do some special things here with this team, and I think we've got the ability in the locker room and the talent to do it. Now it's a matter of having that come to fruition. And it's been an interesting season so far. At any given weekend, we've never been swept. But in the same token, we never swept another team, and so that's how we end up gravitating almost always to 500. And I'd like to think there's more to us than that we have a chance to be a little more special than 500. But it takes a sweep along the way, and time is starting to run out, and I'd like to see us sweep a few series in the second half of this year. They're going to play hard. They're going to be well-schooled defensively. They've got good goaltending. They've got some offensive firepower now. They've got some talent up front. You just look at their last weekend where they had 2 really good games with a very good Fairbanks team, and so for us it doesn't really matter week to week who our opponent is. A lot of times it seems like we're battling ourselves, but what we've learned so far in the conference this year, that there is no easy weekend. There won't be one. It won't be one from here until the end of March. So we're going to come ready to play, and certainly come with a healthy dose of respect for the Huntsville program.
Obviously, Coach Daniels knowing it's very important for the Bulldogs to get points this weekend at home against Alabama. Huntsville, Jared Shafran and Harrison Watt here with you. And we also had an opportunity to catch up with Chad McDonald, a guy who was out of the lineup for a little bit, Harrison, but has come back and has found his rhythm with Kenny Babinski. Line scored a couple big goals against UConn in that January 2nd game.
Well, those two were separated for a while this year, which was different because most of their collegiate careers they've been playing on the same line together. And now that they're back together and both of them are healthy again, or were, as of that UConn series, Chad McDonald, I think, has found a good rhythm, and Kenny Babinski as well, getting out of a scoring slump.
We were able to ask Chad about his thoughts upcoming weekend. A couple weeks off, preparing for Alabama-Huntsville. The standings are really tight. How important is it to come out with some victories this weekend?
It's very important. We take a look at our conference right now, and there's not a lot of points that are, changing the top 5 here. I think we're 5th right now. Bemidji's ahead of us, but they've got a couple games in hand on us. So we just need to come out. We need to get 4 points this weekend. That's probably the biggest thing that we can take away from the weekend.
What can you do on home ice that gives you an advantage against a team like this that's traveled all the way from Alabama, a long trip for them?
You see it when we travel. It's hard. Legs are locked up after a long bus ride, or, your lungs aren't in the best shape. Being at home, it gives us that competitive advantage, not just on the ice physically, but off the ice with all of our fans that come to the games and watch. And, we definitely get the best of both worlds here, and we're hoping that we get a lot of fans come out this weekend because, we can use them to, help get the 4 points as well.
You're back in the lineup here, got back after an injury, and how does it feel to get back, and how are you feeling with your new line?
It feels good. It's always a bummer when you get hurt, but it's the game. They don't say it's a matter, if it's when, and it always happens. But it's behind me, and I'm ready to get back in. And my line mates are doing well, and we've been meshing pretty well in practice this week. I've actually liked my game in practice, and coaches have kind of been on me a little bit, but. They've been on everyone. We need 4 points this weekend. That's the biggest thing, is we need 4 points because we can't be we can't be splitting anymore. That's 4 points is going to catapult us up in the standings, and that's really the big thing right now.
Ferris State Bulldogs and Alabama Huntsville Chargers all starts on Friday night, 7:07 p.m. puck drop. We'll see you at Ava Glaben.